Welcome to the continuing series of the Snippets of Folklore, an alphabet of fairy. In this episode, we are going to take a peek at the letter N. In this snippet of folklore, we will look at the Nikkel, the Nisse, and the Necker. The Nikkel, also Nikkelmanner, are Germanic water fairy creatures, mischievous and often just plain bad, and one that has an interesting idea behind its name. Is nickel the origin of the term Old Nick, a popular vintage term for the devil? After all, English is a Germanic language. Another thought is that Nick was the devil, and Nickels were his minion imps that would carry out the wicked deeds. On the Isle of Rügen, near Hertha Castle, there is a deep black lake, and there lived one of these Nickels. This lake was a place of sacrifices in ancient times, said to contain the goddess Hertha as well as wicked Nickels. This lake was sacred, and no one was allowed to fish there, or even place a boat upon the water. However, there was once a group of fishermen who were busy preparing to carry out their day's hard work of fishing on the sacred lake. They had everything ready and went to rest overnight. In the morning, when they were ready, they looked around for their boat, and it had gone. They looked everywhere, completely confused, and then one of them saw it. It had been placed high up in the branches of a beech tree. Some of them climbed the tree and managed to retrieve the boat, wondering who or what had put it there. At that very moment, a haunting voice filled the air. It was my brother Nickel and I that did it. Another aspect of the Nickel are those of mine imps. Once again, these are mischievous creatures, and this seems to be their main characteristic. The mines these creatures lived in were German copper mines. Miners would carry out their toil, collecting the ore that would be able to be smelted into copper, and yet they would find that despite everything pointing to the hidden metal in the rock, there was nothing there. These rocks became known as Kupfernickel or Coppernickel, named after the wicked fairies that had misled them. We still call this metal nickel to this day, and even with this, the nickel has had the last laugh. Nickel is one of the metals that can cause allergic reactions when coming into contact with the skin, especially when used in jewellery. I myself have a nickel allergy from years of working in the jewellery industry when younger. Thank you very much, Nickels. The Nisse are Scandinavian Nordic creatures that appear during the times of winter solstice, Christmas, and all the darker times of the year. These are hugely popular little fellows. We are used to seeing them now as part of our Christmas and Yule decorations, with their long fluffy beards and pointed hats, and they are also known as tomtes and tomtenisse. They are household goblins, much as the brownie and hobgoblin, protecting their chosen homes and farms. Benevolent little creatures, but once insulted they can turn wicked, and have been known to kill livestock in temper. In appearance they wear traditional Scandinavian farming folk costumes, heavy tunics held by a belt, and an iconic pointed cap that we are used to seeing today. This cap he changes to a round one on Michaelmas Day, and the hats are usually red in colour. Nisse are said to be from a few inches tall to no more than 3 foot in height. It is also believed that he has only 4 digits on his hands. He has pointed ears, eyes that can glow like cat's eyes, and in some tales he only has one eye. Even though he is small, he is incredibly strong and has a quick temper, and this always brings a respect to the Nisse, as their retribution, if treated rudely, can be swift and violent. If anything is spilled on the floor of a home or a farm, the owner must shout a warning to the Nisse that something has been spilled. The Nisse's favourite animal is the horse, and they will usually favour one from the stable. This animal will be perfect at all times, in perfectly beautiful condition, and sometimes with perfect braids that the Nisse has created. On Christmas Eve, it is the thing to do to leave a little bowl of porridge with some butter on the top for the Nisse. To forget to do this will bring acts of mischief around the place that becomes increasingly annoying. In one tale, the butter had been missing from the top of the porridge. The farmer had this time placed it below. In a fit of temper and not realising that mistake, this particular Nisse killed the cow in the barn. He went back to his porridge bowl and found the butter melted at the bottom. Instantly he was filled with remorse and searched everywhere for an identical cow, which he did. In another tale, a maid stole and ate the porridge herself. The Nisse beat her soundly and shouted, "Have you eaten the porridge for the Nisse? Then you must dance with him." In the morning the maid was found dead on the floor. It is said that a bite from a Nisse is a deadly thing, as they carry poison within them. The only way to cure the sickness caused by the poison is to beg healing from the other world. The Necker is an English water fairy creature, human-like in visage and related to the many Germanic water fairies that live in northern Europe. Jenny Greenteeth, Peg Powler, Shellycoat and the Grindylow are all of a Necker race of fairies. These are deadly, all of them. They lure people to their doom in the swirling waters of rivers or under the bubbling strange foams that gather. Their favourite victims, though, are children that innocently are playing too close to the water, unaware of the danger lurking close by. Their hair is known to trail in the flowing streams and rivers, and strange atmospheres haunt where they live. It is said that at dusk they can crawl into the trees whose branches still dangle in the water, especially those whose twigs have caught the rubbish and flotsam that is always found in flowing water. In the morning, the Necker slink back down to their watery deep homes to wait and hunt. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Alphabet of Fairies from Tales of Fae and Folk. I hope you have enjoyed these 3 new creatures, and I am enjoying researching them as well. So, until next time, dear friends, take care, brightest of blessings, and remember, don't play with the fairy folk, or you may end up in one of my folk tales yourself.